What does Jackson Hinkle, less than a year ago, think about Benjamin Netanyahu? What is his opinion on Benjamin Netanyahu?
Vladimir Putin has a very good working relationship with Benjamin Netanyahu. I'm actually happier that for the sake of, the multipolar world order, that he is in power right now compared to the previous coalition in Israel.
And I don't for a minute believe that he believes any of these things. It's really hard to tell when he has a lifelong career of publicly stating that he does everything he does for the clout 100%, and he has shown in his content and coverage that he definitely follows a pathway that is the most lucrative at any given time, and is willing, again, to switch his entire political ideologies and beliefs at the fucking drop of a hat. Ready, everybody? It's time to choose.
My name's Jackson Hinkle. I'm an organizer, I'm an environmentalist. I'm actually the youth director at Choose, and I'm 19 years old and I'm running for San Clemente City Council. Just so many people have been out there, canvassing for us and going door to door, showing up at all our, rallies and volunteer events and campaign events. And
Tubular.
Posting about us on social media.
Radical.
There's so much that people have done. It's
Cowabunga.
really incredible, and I'm super thankful to everyone who've taken the time to do that. I think there's a lot of people who are willing to give us their vote and support us in whatever way they see best fit. But there's a handful more of people that are not.
I don't endorse this. We cannot humanize him. Hold on one second. I'm not playing this because I want you all to fall in love with Jackson Hinkle or something and then hope that he has a future political career. I'm trying to show you one hell of an arc. It's got to be one of the most unique arcs on the internet, at least one that I've been privy to since it started, because Jackson Hinkle used to pop up into my chat. Yeah, like every now and then you'd see a little Jackson Hinkle pop up, because that's when he was kind of palling around or trying to pal around with a lot of leftist creators. He wasn't fully Jimmy Dored by that point, but he was pretty Jimmy Dored, but just being like, yeah, I'm an anti-imperialist, blah, 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 and, I support Bernie Sanders and that kind of shit, and you'd be like, okay, cool, and then I started, checking out some of Jackson Hinkle's content, and some of it, like a lot of other people in that corner of the internet, which I would say is the gray zone. Let's call it the gray zone. So if you're stuck in the gray zone, basically, you start to believe a lot of wild things. You get a worldview that's kind of unique. It's one in which a lot of people who either participated in Occupy, the Occupy movement in the United States, the public education system in the U.S. is not really priming you to learn about a lot of the horrors and atrocities of the U.S., despite what the right will tell you in that they're trying to foster anti-Americanness and wokeness and all that kind of shit. A lot of Americans don't really come to terms with the horrors and war crimes of the American empire, sometimes until much later in life. And for a lot of people, Occupy was one of the first times that really kind of forced a lot of people to self-reflect and look at a lot of those aspects of their life, and they suddenly were interacting and engaging with a lot of people whose political philosophies or ideas or ideologies was probably starkly different than the ones they grew up in their families with, which was typically one of two things, right? You were either a Republican or a Democrat. In Canada, a liberal or a conservative, maybe an NDP. If you're in Quebec, maybe des Blocs Québécois, but limited options. And so you grow up in that world. And Jackson Hinkle is an example of someone who basically went from vote blue no matter who, I'm going to run for local office, surfer dude, who that gamer guy, the one who's modern day California shit. He was basically describing young Jackson Hinkle. I mean, he's still young. I think he's only 23 or something right now. But either way, the original Jackson Hinkle, because he goes through a lot of different mutations, but the very, very first version of him is kind of a vote blue no matter who. He moves from that to a Bernie Sanders supporter. As a Bernie Sanders supporter, and a little bit of the squad, he then starts going into the gray zone. He gets sucked into the gray zone, and it starts with a little bit of Jimmy Dore, but it continues to ramp up and up. So he goes from being oh yeah, so I support the DSA, to the DSA are fascists. AOC is fascists. All of them are the real enemies. The real enemies are the Democratic Party. You see that turn accelerate. There was an actual live stream, because he used to be a Twitch streamer, and he was doing he wasn't just a Twitch streamer. He was I want to fuck broads, one of those dudes on Twitch. I'm a fucking asshole. Yeah. You can't fix me, but good luck trying, because I'm a fucking asshole. That's who he was on Twitch. That's what I knew him as. I knew him as this fucking chauvinist asshole. And I was like, oh, this guy's just a massive piece of shit, And then all of a sudden, he starts ramping things up even more. Yet another iteration. He goes so deep into the gray zone that he's spreading apologia for war crimes, talking about how, you know, Bashir al-Assad is actually a hero in the Syrian civil war, like, oh, very leftist position there, and that the U.S. is actually responsible for a lot of the war crimes that are being committed in Syria. And I'm not trying to absolve the U.S. or any of their engagements in other countries and what they do. The U.S. does a lot of fucked up shit all the time, but also Bashir al-Assad is a bad dude. We both can be simultaneously true, right? That evolves into him suddenly making a lot of fucking anti-LGBTQ plus statements, moving really heavy into being like, you know, trans people are, what is it, sexual predators, drag queens are sexual predators, all that kind of like really right-wing stuff. So everyone starts saying, well, the guy's a right-winger now. Like, again, this is a speed run of political ideologies. Like the whole compass, you've seen it before. He's just bouncing all over the place, moving like, oh, what? He's gone from there to there to there to there, and in a very short amount of time. And people, obviously, when you have a like incredibly rapid ascension in any category, are going to start suspecting maybe it's a grift. Maybe some of this is a grift. Like, what exactly does this person believe? Because he is really pursuing what seems to be the most lucrative path. He's kind of, you know, when he was on YouTube, he's banned on YouTube and he's banned on Twitch now, obviously, for a lot of obvious reasons, right? I mean, that was, I think, before he was even denying the Bucha massacre and trying to say that the whole thing could be made up, or that it's a false flag, or that it was Ukrainians who slaughtered their own people, or maybe it was like like any number of like, well, no, these are war crimes, but what the fuck? He has now moved from that into MAGA communism. Yes, him and Infrared, aka Haz, have been pushing MAGA communism on a much grander scale. Like, most people wouldn't have any idea what the fuck MAGA communism is. And then all of a sudden, Tucker Carlson's got him on there. Piers Morgan has him on there. I'm going to show you, he's been recently on that, what is it, right-wing UK show, where currently the two of them are battling. And obviously, let them fight. The thing with MAGA communism is that, like, Haz did a lot more legwork. I got to give Haz credit. He put in the hours. He actually went on the street with a camera and a mic and tried to talk to right-wing conservatives and actually convince them that MAGA communism was in their best interests, right? And that they're very, very united, because socially they are. They're really disgusted and hate LGBTQ plus people. Like, you know, Haz has done his whole fucking transphobia, so has Jackson Hinkle. Really, really hate LGBTQ plus people. So in that, with Christian fascists and the far right and all those different groups, they are aligned. They are uniquely aligned in that way. So socially, yes, you hate the queers, I hate the queers. Well, then boom, let's form an alliance, right? But when you start to push, and by the way, we love the communism of China, which I don't need to tell any of you that China is, unfortunately, not communist. They're state capitalists, and they're very good at it. Actually, they're very good at capitalism. They're printing billionaires faster than any other country. No, this is not what Marx spoke of. There's really bad treatment of workers in China. Really bad treatment. Like, I'm not even gonna make a joke about this part. At the Foxconn plants, they had to start applying nets because people were trying to unalive themselves, and they figured, well, rather than improve the quality of work for our workers and their lives, which seem to be horrifying, we'll just install some nets. We'll install nets to make sure that employees at Foxconn do not try to unalive themselves, and that should, you know, solve the problem. Yeah, we're going to remove their autonomy in that regard as well, and then put them back to work because we need them to work, because Americans and Canadians want PS5s. And don't want to pay a lot of money for them, so we will have to go through with this. So yeah, no, like, China is not in any way, shape, or form some kind of communist utopia. You can look at China the way you look at any other country. You can look at aspects that they do well. You can look at aspects they do poorly. You can have, or attempt to have, but it's nearly impossible on the internet anymore, a nuanced discussion of the pros and cons. But again, you're not going to convince, as we roll back, MAGA communists that this is somehow like, oh yeah, so we love China now. Yes, well, see, but right-wing media, it makes me, apparently we're at war with China, or we need to be at war with China. China and Iran, those are the biggest enemies to the United States, so we need to be at war with them. So let's what?
Not only just supporting us for this campaign, but they want to see us, you know, regardless of the outcome, continue to keep fighting, and they will continue to keep supporting us. You know, maybe we don't see eye to eye on every issue. That's common, but...
Thank you for the background. Great work. Well, like, I've been watching Hinkle. Hinkle's just one of the characters. He's, you know, in the character selection screen when you're checking it out, and then you're super smash bigots or you know, ghouls or whatever. Like, Hinkle's one of the ones that, like, he was never funny like Infrared was funny. Like Infrared is again, he's Alex Jones tier. Okay, it's unfortunate that it was not Haz who became as huge as he was, because Haz is so confrontational when it's just him alone with a microphone and like and then of course he is mighty Haz the Destroyer. But like you can tell when he's in interviews with other people, like when he went on Tim Pool's show, he's a lot more quiet and agreeable, and it's just a weird contrast to see. So maybe that's why he didn't take off in the same way. But man, Haz is funny. But Jackson, he was just a douchebag, you know. And I was utterly shocked to find out recently just how massive on Twitter. Like you needed this whole thing. It's one of those internet culture moments where you really need Twitter to tell the whole story, and how like the entire change that Twitter went through, and the ability to monetize a very, very select few amount of people. Again, the elites, if you will, the Twitter users who have hundreds of thousands of followers who are paying to use Twitter, because to make money on Twitter, you have to have other people who pay to use Twitter liking and engaging with your tweets. That's part of the whole scam.
But they appreciate us getting involved and me running at such a young age and getting involved in civic engagement and getting other people involved in civic engagement. I think that's really cool that people are just so excited to see us getting involved, and they want to see us not only succeed in this campaign, but succeed further down the line. You know, we started doing like beach cleanups down here, started doing habitat restoration projects in the wetlands in Huntington Beach, and I started to see how politics have a role in protecting the environment. I saw how big money.
See, I don't even know the language. I'll have to look it up. California surfer slang. The ultimate guide to LA's surf language. Thank you. I need to brush up for this. Give me a second here. All right. And hey, anyone from California, if this is not accurate, please let me know. Okay. Exclamatory slang. Sick. It doesn't actually mean sick or ill, though it does have its own alter meaning. This is an exclamation of zeal, also meant cool or impressive. Yeah, I use sick. It's occasionally sick, bro. Stoked. Yeah, we know stoked. Righteous. Okay. It's often coupled with the term bra. Righteous bra. Bummer. A total drag. Yeah, I know all these. Gnarly. I know that. Okay, here's a new one to me. Shaka. Can be used to say hello, goodbye, or to scare off the seagulls. May be used with the term bra. Shaka bra. Shaka bra. A poser, know that. Barney, I don't know this. Have pity for anyone called this. It's not their fault. They are an untalented surfer. Encourage anyone who may be called one to immediately try a different hobby. What are you, some fucking Barney, bro? Shaka. Cook, a beginning surfer who often gets in trouble for being in the way more experienced surfers. If you are called one, figure out why and stop immediately. Okay, or maybe it's kook. OG, know that. A grommet or grom. A child surfer who's just beginning to learn. Grommets are cute and surf better than the kooks, the Barneys, and the posers. All right. Log, a classic longboard first ridden. A foamy, a board used by, yeah, we know foamy. Blay, a short, thin, narrow surfboard made for high performance. Wall hanger, surfboard so beautiful you're not sure whether to ride it, hang it on your wall, or marry it, or fuck it. Worked. When a surfer is held underwater by the waves, wipe out to fall off a surfboard. Yeah, bail, barrel, drop, dropping, charging, get wet. Okay, so I think we've learned enough Hinkle lingo for now.
Money has a role in politics, and at that moment, that was when I started to kind of get really involved with San Onofre and everything going on there, but also with looking at other issues. A very direct turning point for me, when I was in Panama on the surf trip with a few friends, we were spending a lot of time with the locals who lived in...
Okay, so that's enough Prime. So this was basically Jackson Hinkle's unsuccessful political run. So there's a new article right now. If you didn't know, Jackson Hinkle, and I only just recently looked at his Twitter the other day. So this is the Jackson Hinkle Twitter. You'll see here, 2.3 million followers. So I had heard that he had grown to become one of the largest Twitter accounts and now apparently the largest political Twitter account. He's been banned off YouTube's. He's been banned off Twitch. He's been banned off a lot of places. The rest of his social media, it hasn't really grown. Rumble doesn't let you grow in the same way. It's got a very limited audience and reach, so he hasn't grown on Rumble in the same fashion. His Telegram is, I think it's got like 65,000 followers or something like that, but it's still nowhere near his Twitter account. His Twitter account is monstrous, and he's one of the Twitter accounts, obviously, that's both monetizing his account, doing his shows on Twitter as well, or X, and also trying to get people to subscribe to premium for the $3 to his account. And he has done all this by transforming, once again, because like I said, he's evolved and changed so many times, into now a very, very pro-Palestinian, anti-Israeli account, which I know a lot of people would be like, well, isn't that a good thing, though? Like, I mean, if he's going to grift, fine, he's just doing whatever he can for the pay, but isn't it just good that he is actually advocating for things that you also would agree with? Because yes, we should be advocating for things like ending the occupation of Palestine by Israel. But here's the problem, is that he's spreading misinformation, which is then obviously being used by anyone who's supporting Israel to be like, oh, here's a fucking, a liar. He's a white supremacist, anti-LGBTQ plus bigot. So by sharing him and his accounts or the information he has, and a lot of people have been fooled by it, they've again been effectively been put in a position where someone's like, why are you sharing the same person who said this or did that, as a way of suddenly discounting perhaps the good information that he is sharing, which again can be very, very damaging, especially when it's one of the largest accounts. And this also has to be someone, and I will be able to prove to you very shortly, who is not staunchly pro-Palestinian in all his beliefs and career, and has been. Again, it's him changing based on whatever is the most successful, the most profitable. And in this case, 2.3 million followers. He has very effectively transformed his, modest Twitter account, where his dad embarrassed him and Ray showed the fuck out of him by calling into question his whole, like, my parents lied to me about Santa Claus stuff, into one of the most profitable accounts on X. MAGA influencers tearing each other apart over Israel-Hamas war. The mouthpieces of the Trump-era conservatism are picking sides and taking names. While conventional wisdom has long held that Republicans, and particularly evangelicals, are the staunchest allies of Israel in the U.S., the latest bloody exchanges between the state of Hamas militants have revealed fault lines in the critical base of support. Rather than close ranks back to Israeli attacks on Gaza, some right-wing influencers have turned on each other. For instance, Islamophobic conspiracy theorist Laura Loomer and pro-Russian MAGA influencer Jackson Hinkle, who mere weeks ago appeared to have a friendly relationship on X, formerly Twitter, are now sniping at each other over the conflict. Loomer, who is who is Jewish, has endorsed Israel's actions, while Hinkle took a stance against the response to Hamas's initial surprise attack, disrupting reports from their military. He's now encouraging users to subscribe to his premium content for $3 a month to support his work, quote, exposing Zionist propaganda. Loomer, in turn, is accusing him of sympathizing with Hamas and buying bot followers. His audience has grown by hundreds of thousands this month alone. On Wednesday, she tweeted that Hinkle has, quote, gone off the deep end. Subscribe to my premium for $3 if you would like to support my work exposing Zionist propaganda. Prove to Laura Loomer you are real humans, not Iranian bots. I want Jackson Hinkle to stop supporting Hamas. He has gone off the deep end. Hamas Hinkle. Let them fight. Let them fight. Enjoy. You love to see it. Keep battling. Conservative podcaster and Daily Wire co-founder Ben Shapiro has, like Loomer, been unwavering and adamant for their belief in Israel's response to Hamas has been justified. But that doesn't sit well with others on the right, like Elijah Schaffer, a podcaster and writer for the Gateway Pundit, also someone, I believe, who was kicked out of the Blaze network for alleged sexual assault, doesn't like when people ask him about it. He described Shapiro's tweets as a call for genocide against the Palestinian people, comparing it to Nazi rhetoric of Adolf Hitler. In July, he had posted a selfie with Shapiro from 2018, thanking him for his advice at the time about launching a right-wing program. Now, here's the thing. A handful of right-wingers, because they've now just suddenly embraced so many of the more radicalized and extreme elements of their ideology, such as Christian fascists, for example, as well as gripers, aka neo-Nazis. Elijah Schaffer kind of rolls in that particular brand. And these neo-Nazis do hate Jewish people. We're talking all Jewish people. I'm not specifically saying people who live in Israel or are Israeli or happen to support the government of Israel. I'm talking about they hate Jewish people because, again, a lot of them have white supremacist Nazi rhetoric. So all of a sudden, if you're seeing infighting amongst the right, it's not because a lot of these people, and in the case of, many of them, you can see when it is a grift, right? It's not because suddenly they are like standing up for Palestinian rights or stuff like that. The dangerous thing about a Jackson Hinkle is that, again, if you have a white person wearing a suit in a tie, and they are advocating very strongly for a cause. And it is, even if the cause is righteous, right? Some of their causes are not, some of their causes could be. Even if the cause is righteous, suddenly you're going to see these people shared very heavily by people who are being like, look, Americans are also standing up for us. Here are you know, some very large accounts. That this one happens to have millions of followers standing up for Palestinian rights. And then the next post is going to be just like the most yikesy thing ever. And then the post after that might be again, you know, some pro-Palestinian content. Charles C. Johnson, the alt-right political activist and Holocaust denier, tweeted that Shapiro was in essence an Israeli asset and demanded that he register under the Foreign Agents Registration Act. It's not the first time Johnson has leveled such claims at Shapiro, but in the heat of the Israel debate, they're getting far more traction. This particular post resurfaced on Gab as a, quote, free speech social media platform rife with anti-Semitic extremism, where failed Senate candidate Sam Parker used it as a pretext to declare that Shapiro is an agent of the Israeli intelligence agency Mossad. Spread it on Twitter and Gab, Parker wrote. He's pushing war propaganda like crazy. This, by the way, is also a massive danger of the equivocation of all Jewish people with the state of Israel that is being done by both the Democrats and the Republicans. When someone says anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism, yes, let's all sign off on this. And that includes a lot of Democrats who did that. Well, these are the potential dangers, because there are people who genuinely hate all Jewish people simply for being Jewish. A lot of them are neo-Nazis, white supremacists, fascists, fucking horrifying people. But when you start forming alliances with horrifying people, they don't just suddenly stop being horrifying people who are anti-Semitic. That part doesn't just shut off, right? They might find that, you know, one side is a useful enemy for a little while, but this is why I've always spoken out against people like Jimmy Dore, who's like, oh, we should form alliances with fascists. And you're like, no, never. You shouldn't do that. They are the enemy, and they are antithetical to any kind of leftist project that you're trying to do. The fascists killed the leftists. That's how that shit goes. They're not going to be cozy bedfellows for a little while, and then all of a sudden be like, so by the way, we got to talk about something. What do we have to talk about? The Purge. Oh, we're doing that already? Shit. The same thing with people aligning with Andrew Tate, because Andrew Tate is speaking out right now and advocating for, say, Palestinian liberation. Jackson Hinkle not taking down Jackson Hinkle hasn't taken us down, but he wrote, holy shit, the image that Ben Shapiro tried to pass off as a burnt baby corpse was AI-generated fake imagery. The proof that he had for posting this, by the way, was that it was run through a reverse AI detector. So it was using AI to try and detect AI. And again, there's many horrifying atrocities that you can call out while not having to lie along the way, because as soon as you start doing that, all of the detractors are going to start to use that as suddenly evidence. It's like, oh, well, yes, the left, because apparently this person is on the left. They happen to be, in this case, spreading misinformation. Look at this. Prominent leftist, Jackson Hinkle. He says that he's a Marxist-Leninist, and a communist at the same time. Yeah, so look at that, lefties. So the civil war between right-wingers has been continuing between a lot of people. Israel is not Ukraine. The war in Ukraine is an endless war. Ukraine will never defeat Russia, no matter how much money or how many weapons we give them. There is no clear plan for winning the war. Ukraine is profoundly corrupt. It's been going on for 80 years, and you believe you can solve it. Cry harder about an anti-Semite. Palestinians are Semitic people, you dirty Holocaust denying Nazi. So Nazis versus Nazis. Jake Shield, you know, shit going down here. Hi Rychek versus Bomb and Demenek. Yeah. So again, for a lot of people on the far right, all of a sudden, sorry, a lot of people maybe on the right. Well, yeah, we'll say the right to the center right might be a little bit disgusted that all of a sudden getting in bed with Nazis has them saying and doing Nazi shit ultimately. So this is what Jackson Hinkle was when he was a Twitch streamer, and because he's banned, give me a second to apply beanie. There we go.
I did it for the clout. I do everything for the clout.
Nice.
You will never see me do something not for the clout. That's the only way I operate. That is the only way I operate. That is the only way I operate.
There is a great flip though. Like,
you don't have any character.
You don't have cap detection?
Oh my god, did Inkbytes just say I don't have character? I've been carrying the stream the entire fucking night, and Inkbytes just said I don't have character? Chat.
No, I don't mean like content, I mean like morality. Like, how can we trust anything you say if you do everything for content?
Very astute, I gotta say. Yeah. Yeah, no, we're not talking about, we're talking just about your morality. Why would you say something like that? Jackson Hinkle is going to go on Joe Rogan right after he, quote, blows some backs out. All right. And again, this is what I knew Jackson Hinkle as before he blew up as the #1 political account on Twitter.
In Texas.
This was like a year ago.
No, okay, I would come to Texas. You live in Austin, which is too far away from all the SMU chicks I'm trying to blow their backs out. So, like, it's too far away from that. There's no reason for me to go to Austin.
What?
Low back will help you.
Can we see the fucking outfit or not, dude? You are being way too emotional about this. Step the fuck up. Let's see the outfit.
I'm passionate.
Are you passionate? You're passionate.
That's really good.
I thought you said you were a jackhammer or something earlier.
That was such a good response.
Yeah,
that's a good response. If they ever call you emotional, say I'm passionate.
Listen. When I've already been name dropped on the podcast. When I'm on Joe Rogan, I'll come out and say hi when I'm in the area.
Holy
okay,
shit.
well listen.
When he's done eating,
are you stand up or what? This is really dramatic.
He said no,
I'm asking to see what you're looking.
Adri, when he's done eating elk meat.
I don't have enough beanies. So many people here are banned for being fucking horrifying monsters, by the way. Jackson Hinkle suggests women sleep on the street in front of his apartment.
Adriana. Adriana.
Teach me a lesson, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm never going to be your man. I'm never going to be your man.
Yeah.
No.
I saw that.
Here's what's gonna happen.
Can we put some money on
buy
this?
your own plane ticket out to Los Angeles. If I like you enough, maybe you don't have to sleep on the street in front of my apartment. You can come up to and stay in my living room.
Now, you know, it's just so cringe because, like, it's very forced, obviously. Again, we watched the campaign ad. You all know how, like, surfer bra he can be, you know. He's certainly not a biter or any of those other terms that we had to learn. Calabung, but I can't even speak. I'm not even going to try it, all right? But yeah, it's so fucking forced to be here and just be like, yeah, you gotta sleep on the street, yeah, because you're like garbage to me, because I'm a bad boy, and like you can't change me, no one can, and I blow out backs. Yeah, it's fucking super sexy.
And we'll see where it goes from there, but I will never be your man.
Okay, let's place our bets, guys.
Okay,
we're playing a little bit of.
Weeks later,
There's no bet.
You guys
There's no bet.
relationship
No, because when I told you stand up, I want to see your outfit, you said yes, mommy,
relationship.
and you did.
You don't have enough followers for that. You don't have enough followers for that.
Now, Jackson, what if she just gives you like the most bomb head in the universe?
So that's kind of the content. Jackson Hinkle says this about a toothbrush. This is, I think, the worst one of all of these. I mean, the fact that he's like, every single thing I do is for clout. That part I think is more like a confession at this point.
When I bring chicks to my place, I only have 2 toothbrushes. One is for me, and one I use for every other chick that I bring over to my house, and I tell them that it's a new toothbrush and it's only for them. So it's kind of smart because,
like, if true, that's fucking disgusting. And what the fuck is wrong with you? And what, you just want to give them all diseases? And that makes you bad? Baby, I'm such a fucking bad boy that I'm going to give you some oral complications. Yeah, you might have gangrene when you're done with me. Hope you don't like swamp mouth, because that's what you're getting. Don't try and change me, ever.
That's the type of shit that guys do.
You have issues, buddy.
I don't like it. You should let them take it home in a bag like they're from the
I bring.
So that's Jackson Hinkle a year ago, and now he's quite upset about a lot of things. I should show you. So Jackson Hinkle, why are the Zionists at Rockstar Games releasing this sexualized video game for children in America? Ban GTA 6 trending right now. Of course, this is bad because boobs. This is bad because bums. Most of Grand Theft Auto has been rated mature by the SRP. Rockstar is not affiliated with any Zionist movement. I love that this had to be community noted. Nice. Base Rockstar, not affiliated with any Zionist movements. This user is known for spreading misinformation to boost engagement and interactions. Do you find this helpful? It's also wild that he's gone to the whole, like, you know, this is degenerate. Hold on, I can also show you like some of his LGBTQ. The pedophile-ridden LGBTQ plus movement has done far more damage to America than Putin ever will. That's one of them. Here's another one. Again, this has to be such a shock to, like, you know, his parents, where it's just like probably like, you know, he was a good old boy, like a Democrat, and he was running for public office, and he was going to shut down the nuclear plants and all this kind of stuff, to like whatever the fuck has happened. Open image tab. All right. DC Pride. What's more disgusting? The man with breasts twerking naked in front of a police officer as children march steps behind, or the EU flag? What's more disgusting? I don't know if you all remembered this. This was fucking absolutely hilarious, but like, there was supposed to be a debate between, I gotta block this too, but between because Destiny's banned as well, Destiny and maybe, no, Dylan was just moderating. I don't think Dylan was going to be a part of it, but I think it was Destiny versus Infrared. And they decided to try and copy the Sam Cedar bit, you know, the one where like Ethan Klein brought on Sam Cedar to debate Steven Crowder, and then Crowder got cold feet and then just went super anti-Semitic out of nowhere and then just pieced out. I was like, oh, beady little eyes, and then just like left. That whole thing. Well, the internet loved that. That was awesome, right? So why not do one of those? Except it doesn't work when you switch out Infrared for Jackson Hinkle. Hinkle doesn't really do anything, and their microphone doesn't work. Then it's just deeply embarrassing, right? And kind of clown shoes. So I'm going to have to apply a beanie. So this is them trying to pull that trick off.
Should people vote for the Democratic Party?
So to begin, hold on, wait, someone's at the door. You need to...
Again, I love how darling the theatrics are. The fact that he's actually like prepared this, like they talked about this beforehand. It would have been like, okay, so like right before I'm about to debate Destiny, I say, what should I say? Like, oh, say someone's at the door. Okay, yeah. I'll be like my food's here or something. Yeah, do that. Then walk off camera, and then I'll shock everybody by showing up. Right? Hopefully they know who I am.
Okay, Destiny. I can't mess with it's mind games.
Hi, how's it going?
We're going great.
Hello.
How you guys doing?
Doing good.
We're doing great.
Start flexing. Just owning the libs, crushing them.
What's the question?
Should people vote for Democrats?
Definitely not. Definitely not.
Okay, if that's the intro, Destiny, now you can start with yours.
That was the intro. I'll do my intro. We should not vote for Democrats because at the end of the day, Democrats are only another arm of the corporate oligarchy. They're furthering the imperialist wars.
So back then, by the way, he used a lot of just like it was a lot of slogans. You know, you just repeat the same things over and over and over again. Yes, this is part of the U.S. hegemonic empire. They're trying to stop the multipolar world from rising. However, that like just thing after thing.
They are crippling more Americans.
If we can't hear anything you're saying, you're.
Unfortunately, it doesn't really go anywhere from there. They eventually switch back when they realize how deeply embarrassing the whole thing is, and then Haz proceeds to do the debate, shall we say. So yeah, this is Jackson Hinkle once again reaffirming that he does everything he does for the clout.
Destiny won't debate me. Destiny won't debate me. He says he can't tell if I'm like serious or something.
I did it for the clout.
I'm actually confused as to why he won't debate me. They have this grand conspiracy that I actually don't believe the things that I do because of what? I don't know. What reason would it be?
I do everything for the clout.
I don't know what it is because if you go, let me see if I can find it. Someone said,
he rose a lot since then. Now, everyone's been obviously talking a little bit, I think, about how Jackson Hinkle has recently been separated from. He was dumped by his Russian model girlfriend. On the morning of the brutal October 7th Hamas attack on the communities in Israel, social media influencer Jackson Hinkle had 417,000 followers. Wow. So he went from 417,000 followers to 2.3 million in order to promote his own brand and do it as a war profiteer in a lot of ways. Because again, he is using a tragic event of which I'm going to show you what his true beliefs on Israel are, but he is using a tragic event and he is reporting on it in such a way that he's posting sometimes factually incorrect or incredibly falsified information, which is then being retweeted by a lot of other accounts who don't know who Jackson Hinkle is. It just looks like a verified check mark and perhaps a source of news, fine. And then here's video footage of this event or this thing that has occurred. And then once it's been shown that, you know, he's spreading misinformation, it's being used against, say, the left, or leveraged against the left, because it's like, well, yeah, this person apparently, he says he's a communist. Oh, a MAGA communist. So what, sorry, what is a MAGA communist? I'm confused. Just 2 months later, the number of people following Hinkle's conspiratorial and more often than not incoherent ramblings on X has mushroomed to 2.3 million. It's a staggering jump that not only is earning Hinkle a tidy revenue in advertising as a content creator on the Elon Musk-owned platform, but it's largely thanks to Hamas and the supporters of a terrorist organization, perhaps sending a money-making opportunity in the days that followed the horrifying attack. Hinkle went to conspiracy overdrive and began pumping out anti-Israel and anti-Semitic propaganda on an almost industrial scale. So again, it is being used by, you know, Israel and pro-Israel accounts and people in order to, again, attack the correct position that Palestinians should have their own land. They should be liberated. They should not be under a system of apartheid. They should not be ethnically cleansed. They should not be genocided. Yes, absolutely, 100%. And the people who are committing these atrocities, Israelis, the IDF, Benjamin Netanyahu, for example, this is a useful grifter. That's how I would describe this entire fucked up situation. This is a useful grifter for Israel. That's ultimately what this all boils down to, and that's why it is very dangerous to be retweeting, posting, uncritically, you know, watching or any of that stuff, Jackson Hinkle content. A popular pro-Russian commentator is being ridiculed online after claiming that an image of a spent shell casing in a baby's crib of Israel actually showed unfired bullets. Jackson Hinkle, who boasts more than 2.2 million followers on X, uploaded a still image from a video shared by the Israeli government on Monday during the billionaire Elon Musk visit to the country. The video showcases the aftermath of the October 7th attack. They put unfired bullets in a baby crib when Elon Musk visited, Hinkle proclaimed. But there's one problem: the image does not show unfired bullets, and instead the casing is from what is likely rifle rounds. The faux pas was quickly met with widespread ridicule. Users began uploading pictures of the rifle rounds to highlight Hinkle's blunder. Even the fellow supporters of the Palestinian cause have also argued Hinkle made an embarrassing mistake. These are fired cases, dude. As much as I support Palestine, disinformation will not help. But Hinkle wasn't the only one to run this claim. Another user with 115,000 followers described the casings, etc. So we have come a long way from baby Hinkle.
A region called Madronya, and one of the locals, his name is Evans Mendoza. He took us on this long hike one day to this secluded beach that was supposed to have incredible surf, and when we arrived, there was like
premium
narba. There were hermit crabs all over the beach. We had hiked in like 3 hours.
No kooks.
And I was just blown away by how beautiful the area was and how secluded it was and far away from civilization it was.
Some fucking shaka right there.
But the one thing that I really picked up on the moment I got there was like plastic littered all across the beach. And when we were looking at all the hermit crabs that were on the beach, one of the hermit crabs actually had a toothpaste cap rather than a shell on it. And it was kind of like a very direct signal for me.
That moment changed me when I saw a hermit crab that had a toothpaste cap on it instead of a shell, you know? Like, what the fuck are we doing? What are we even doing, bruh? What does Jackson Hinkle, less than a year ago, think about Benjamin Netanyahu? What is his opinion on Benjamin Netanyahu? Why is he perhaps, again, a useful grifter?
You know who else has a good working relationship with Benjamin Netanyahu? Vladimir Putin has a very good working relationship with Benjamin Netanyahu. I'm actually happier that for the sake of, you know, the multipolar world order, that he is in power right now compared to the previous coalition in Israel. Xi Jinping of the Communist Party of China has a good working relationship with Benjamin Netanyahu, better than the previous coalition. You know who else has a good work?
So, if we take out the white supremacist shit, the anti-LGBTQ plus shit, and he has done like, you know, a little play on the 14 words in his postings as well, where he was like, I am like, I forget how he did it. It was clearly a wink though, like I want to have a future for my children and my bloodline or something like that, like clearly a nod, wink wink kind of shit. And I don't for a minute believe that he believes any of these things. It's really hard to tell when he has a lifelong career of publicly stating that he does everything he does for the CLOUT 100%, and he has shown in his content and coverage that he definitely follows a pathway that is the most lucrative at any given time, and is willing again to switch his entire political ideologies and beliefs at the fucking drop of a hat. Like if you look at the arc going from the whatever you could call the early vote blue no matter who to the MAGA communist days, pretty wild. But yeah, this is no, you know, lover of Palestinians or freedom. He's doing a very, very successful and lucrative nod to multiple groups at once, grifting multiple groups at once on one specific platform. In this case, it happens to be Elon Musk's X, made possible by, yes, the new changes to Elon Musk's social media platform. Has shown himself to be one of the rare examples of someone who has profited handsomely from the entire process. And again, is a very useful grifter for supporters of apartheid, supporters of Palestinian genocide. That would be a big win, a massive win for them if he continues to be unchecked or uncalled out for. And again, you know, the whole kind of like, let's not even talk about the DC, like him going after LGBTQ plus people kind of goes part and parcel with people who also go after, you know, the female form, nudity, in this case, you know, the whole Grand Theft Auto stuff, like Zionists, Rockstar Games releasing the sexualized video game for children in America, blah, 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 sexualized. The guy used to be a hot tub streamer. Like, I kid you not. You know all the hatred of the hot tub meta now? The guy used to try and grift people into giving him subs in exchange for saying that he was going to date them, or people who were on his stream were going to date them. And if you don't believe me, literally, I happen to have rare unseen evidence. Here you go, everybody.
Literally like Twitch, like bullshit drama hate level to the nth degree, but back in Lenin's time. Literally, 1707, that's literally what's gonna happen. Do you want to read Dan Bilzerian or Lenin?
Yeah, so he used to be a massive fan of Dan Bilzerian. If you're not familiar with Dan Bilzerian, the like super rich Instagram influencer who a lot of like, I can understand why young men or boys admire Dan Bilzerian, because it's like, it's almost everything that you're supposed to want, kind of like an Andrew Tate like figure who's not just such an open misogynist, for example, but like, you know, always you know, having sex with tons of beautiful models, having tons of like big cars, is really, really fit, all that kind of shit. That used to be what Jackson Hinkle was a big fan of.
But show off the pecs a little.
We just ate. I feel bloated.
Plastic's so hot but so short. How much you weigh, bro?
175.
Claw off Twitch. Hey, Claw.
Are you proud of me informing viewers?
Jackson Hinkle used to be a hot tub streamer. Yeah. Hey, where's all the hatred for this? Come on. All the people who are so mad at boobies right now, or fucking implied nudity, or any of that kind of stuff, you know, like right now there's this meta on the internet where if I do, hold on everybody, this is an 18+ stream, just want to warn on view, because I'm about to get naked. Check it out. Hold on 1 second. Just taking my clothes off. All right, I'm now naked. I'm naked on stream right now. That's right. Yes, I'm abiding by the rules of the TOS. I'm naked on stream. From you just have to use your imagination. It's implied. The nudity is implied right now. Yes, but I'm naked on stream. People are fucking furious at this. Yeah, hold on. I have to get dressed. Oh, whoa, look at that. People are so mad at this on the internet. But this was okay. You know, what's this double standard? If you're male presenting, all of a sudden you're allowed to show nipples, so it's not considered nudity. Yeah, and getting subs and donos. I bet you think it doesn't get worse. I bet you think they don't actually try and coax people to do subs and donations the way those booby streamers do, right?
She's doing a great job. Claw, are you gonna be in Texas next week?
Lives there.
Well, I don't know if he's gonna be there. I'm not gonna be in LA next week.
He's all gonna be at the parties.
All right. Fair enough.
Gotta adjust the beanies.
Come to
Band
Austin
streamers.
this weekend. He always goes to Austin. Austin, he lives in LA.
Any so 35 and I've been in Marxist-Leninist longer than Jackson has been alive. Any chance?
If you give 10 subs to me and to him, then you have a chance.
I say I'll give each 10 subs to you.
How
Been a
long have we hung
Marxist-Leninist.
out?
Yeah. Isn't that the thing that everyone's mad at? Isn't it the exact? Am I wrong? Am I wrong? You know, being like, oh yeah, no, definitely. You have a shot. Yeah. I'm definitely a Marxist-Leninist. In addition to that, 10 subs right now. Then you'll have a chance, right? This is a hot tub streamer. This is a hot tub streamer who is now the number one political X account that people are using for misinformation. It's what's the word? Fucked up. Yeah, that whole thing. But also it's pretty funny. I do enjoy the fact that Hinkle has successfully shown that given a couple of key choice phrases and words, you can certainly ascend to fantastic heights within a right-wing circle as long as you're pulling off a very specific kind of grift at any time.
Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Can you please hit the like and subscribe button and maybe leave a comment? It really does help the videos out. But first, the people who produce everything you see before you and make this entire channel possible: Amazing Fletch, Anna Loves Riley, Ariane McCarthy, Cheryl Alvarez, Doug Caddy, Everything Important, Hagbard Celine, Multimondi, Omni, Peanut Butter Blondie, Political Puppy, Quiet 185, Rachel K, Riley and Anna, Roller Dragon, Ruby K, Cernicus, Spinach Monster, Stellar Vision, Sebastian Demel, Trevbot.exe, Words Greenwood, and Travis McClinton. And also, thank you to every other person who helps fund this show. Their names are on the screen right now. It would not be possible without every single one of them. We cannot thank you enough. And if you want to join the Patreon, please come to patreon.com/theserfs and help us exist.